one of these days I'm going to learn color grading, and then this is going to look really cool. That day is not today, because I have a bajillion million things to do, as always. Hello. Welcome to log 78, I think. It is April 13th. It is a Monday. It is 9:23 p.m. And, okay. Safe to say, you know how this whole weekend I've been feeling like kind of bleh, and I kind of thought I just needed to like relax a little, you know, I just needed to decompress. And all of yesterday just felt like, yeah, bleh is the best way to describe it. Yeah, so that was like building up to something. And then more or less as soon as I finished the log from last night and I admitted that I just wasn't feeling that good the whole day, I had my laundry to do. I unfolded my laundry and I picked up a delivery from the mailroom. It was an edible arrangement bouquet. It was a cute little fruit flower bouquet thing. And that just sent me over the edge, I guess. And thus began the emotional detox, which is a cool way of saying I cried a lot. Yeah. Hey, it's not finals week if you're not crying while folding your laundry, huh? Oh man. But it wasn't even about work. Maybe it was. It was about how I view work or something. I don't know. It's a little too personal to share completely on YouTube, but more or less, it's all been brought up from the Compassion Week. I've just been fully, completely, finally addressing how I view myself, how I receive compliments versus criticism, the things I tell myself every day, the way I view myself, the way I may or may not feel like I deserve love from myself or others or the world. Good news is, it's affecting my art style. I mean, as I'm, breaking the walls and I'm getting through this, my art's getting better again. So that's how you know this is good. And, okay, I have an interesting relationship with crying. That being, for most of my life, it was a complete embarrassment if I was caught crying, or if I cried at all. It was weakness. If I cried, that means I failed at managing my emotions. That was like game over mode. Like, if you cry, what are you crying about? Kind of thing. Yeah, so naturally I tried to hold it in as much as possible, and then I got to a point where if I had tried to cry, which, never really happened because I didn't want to ever, but when it got to the point where I was starting to heal and I was like, okay, maybe crying is healthy, and I tried to cry, and then tears did not come out. It was like, it's like when you're squeezing something really tight, and then like a single tear maybe, and it mainly just makes my face really hot, and it's just like tense, and it's like uncomfortable. It's not a pretty scene. There's a lot of snot. But recently, and as I've been going through all of the heavy duty healing and digging up stuff, most of that happened last semester before all of these logs started. But crying turned from a bad thing to a signal kind of thing. I started to learn to work with it. If I was talking about something particular and then I started to feel like I was tearing up, that means I hit something that I should look deeper into. I started to think of it as like an oil rig. If I find a spot, that means I should, dig a little deeper. And up until recently, very recently, I did cry somewhat freely. There were actual tears that went down my face. And they dripped. It's a big thing. And I did not feel ashamed of it. At least much less ashamed than I used to be. And then it actually felt good. As it should. Because that rhymed. Because, like, that is a natural emotion. That's the way your body processes extreme sadness or joy. Usually any extreme emotion involves tears. Because it releases cortisol. Like, through water, it actually just releases it. Like, it's kind of the detox. So, that's cool. Tried really hard to just let it go. Past 2 days? Well, no, past 24 hours. And I think it worked. More or less. Sort of. I kept trying to cut it off before it was fully done. Like, there was a lull and I was like, okay, moving on. Should not move on yet. Hardest part was reaching out to a friend. Still haven't been able to do it face to face because I still find that extremely embarrassing. But I texted someone. May or may not talk to a friend later tonight face to face. That would be scary. Coincidentally, there was my third art exhibition this afternoon, which was really cool. But the show was about recovery and healing. And one of my deeper paintings was on display. And my professor was there, and he related to it. He resonated, or it resonated with him, however that goes. And then he asked me to explain the story behind it. First off, I was surprised, like, wait, you actually want to know about it? And he was, like, really interested. He was like, yeah, if you're comfortable with it, I would love to hear, like, what your journey was, what caused this. And then I tried so hard not to cry because I was so stressed all day today. It was just completely building up and building up and building up, and it was, yeah. Up until that exhibition, it just kept building to the point where I felt like a pressure cooker and I was about to just explode or melt or whatever. Like, I felt like kind of dizzy, and I did not drink all of my coffee because that was making it worse. But I ran into a friend and I just absolutely refused to show anyone that I was stressed. And, like, I couldn't even fully tell what I was stressed about, but more or less I'm pretty sure it was just, I don't feel proud of myself. And I probably said something along these lines last log. I just started editing, starting from log 72. It's currently 78. Wow, okay, I have a lot to work on later. In moderation. We're not overdoing this, but still a lot. What was he talking about? First off, this is the most energetic I've been all night. I'm loving this. It finally feels like I'm out of the rut. I finally addressed the emotions that I'm running away from, and they're here, and we're doing it. And yes, okay, so, wait, no, I lost it again. Oh, okay, right, so Professor asked me to explain what was happening, and the dam was so close to breaking. In fact, it was pretty much breaking. I started tearing up talking about, you know, the whole mental journey I'm going through, and just, right, I was, this whole, the thing that was causing me so much pain right now was that I felt completely and utterly inadequate, however you pronounce it. English is weird. But yeah, because I mean, I just celebrated 3 exhibitions. Like, it's kind of a big deal. But with each passing exhibition, I just felt less and less worthy or relevant, because, like, I know I worked hard for it. I know my art deserves to be in there, but I don't know if I deserve to be proud of it or something. Which, again, logically is ridiculous because I worked really hard to get these skills. I don't think it's imposter syndrome. There's just something happening deep down that is just, like, preventing me from receiving any positive feedback. Truly receiving it. Like, I can put on a show and be like, oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. But, like, do I feel it? No, it's numb. So, I realized that. It scares me. It's like, oh, how do I fix that? And now I'm just, like, more aware of it. And I'm realizing, okay, yeah. Will I ever be able to truly feel loved? I don't know. Obviously, the answer is yes. Because I've realized this for 3 or 4 days now. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I will be okay. This will be fine. But right now, it doesn't feel fine. So we're not going to pretend to be all high and mighty about it. We're not going to do the zoomy voice. We're not going to pretend that there's this whole journey. No. I'm just going to be right here. And I'm just going to freely panic for a second. And grieve. And be sad and wonder what caused this. And wonder how I'm supposed to fix this. And just live the life. Yeah. And I'm feeling much more reassured now because I actually used what I've learned just recently, like the past hour recently. I defended one of my passions, like actually verbally said that, hey, this matters to me. That's pretty cool. Haven't done that before. Felt like I kind of really valued myself there, which is really nice. And I've so far been preventing that zoomy voice from really taking over. Like, I have not been overthinking all of this emotional processing, and I've been letting myself cry. So, like, it doesn't feel like progress, but it is progress. So I have to trust, and I will be trusting, and I'll probably be making a comic about it. Speaking of, I just finished coloring and I posted a comic about the first realization of this compassion thing that I had started, I guess, a little over a week ago, because it was compassion, which was week 9. Yeah, it was using this whole metaphor as like my, negative self-talk as this giant bowl made out of like garden roots and stuff, and my garden is like my little mind space, my little safe haven, mind palace, whatever you want to call it. So, I'm proud of the metaphor. I think it fits very nicely, but this whole battle is going on a lot longer than I expected. Usually they're like little one and done hurdles that you like deal with it for the week. Maybe there's a little more, but like we have now begun week 11 and I'm still pretty torn up over it. Which, I mean, makes sense because it's like a big thing. It's affected me most of my life, but like I gotta recognize that and be patient. But enough about that. For now. Probably gonna talk about it tomorrow. But first day, week 11. I did finish week 10 last night. I did all other 3 tasks. I did the thing. Oh, that's a new car horn. Oh right, there were 4 tasks. It was 5. I forgot there was a secret 5th one. And again, realized one of the last tasks was do something nice for yourself every day this week. Whoops. So, I read every task of week 11 today. And yeah, we're gonna... Although I think I was pretty nice to myself this past week. Sort of, except for the insane work crunch. Outside of that, I went on like coffee dates and stuff. It was not as bad as it could have been. We'll just say that. Yeah. So there were... Oh, yes, okay. So I did do one really good thing yesterday that I forgot to mention because I was too busy being all sad. I made a collage out of task 2, where it said list a bunch of happiness touchstones, or like joy touchstones, just like little tiny things in the world that just make you, that spark joy, they make you happy. So I ended up listing like 25 different things, and I was thinking, hey, I would love to see all of this put together in one picture, giant collage. So I did. I spent like over an hour on it, I think. It was a lot of pictures. And I'm usually not a really big collage person. I usually don't like that, but this time I was really into it, so it was fun. And it's a big fat collage, and it's my new wallpaper, and I like it. I still haven't finished the Ideal Me other wallpaper that will be my Google background. Might do it tonight, might not. We'll see. Whatever I feel like. So, yes, did that. That was fun. And the other tasks were, one was you had to list, it was the craft one, you had to list 7 different deadlies, which were like the most common toxic habits, like, you know, alcohol, drugs, work, food, family and friends, depending, and sex. And then you rip them all up, put them in something. I put them in my sweatshirt pocket. And then you pull out a word 7 different times and write 5 ways that it negatively affects your life. And it said that if there's something that doesn't really apply to you, then consider it a block. And just write 5 things anyway. So a few of them I had to stretch a little bit because I don't really drink alcohol. And other life choices that don't really apply. I don't do drugs. So I didn't pick that one. But obviously work was going to be the biggest one. And I ended up picking alcohol twice. So in that case, I stretched it a little bit and I just said how externally it's negatively affecting my life. And like the whole social taboo, like people kind of treat me weirdly when I say that I don't really like to drink. It's like infantilizing almost. It's kind of gross. But anyway, one more point on the black sheep board. Whatever. So that was cool, I guess. Task 3? I don't remember. I do not know what it was. I don't remember at all. Yep. Nope. Nothing in the brain. So if you want to figure out what task 3 was, buy the book. Task 4 was bottom line. I had to... Oh, wait. Almost remember task 3. It's gone again. Okay. Well, 4 was bottom line. You have to think of like 5 of your worst habits and then just write bottom lines for them. Like, bottom line, I will not work past 9 p.m. Or bottom line, I will not even think of work before 8 a.m. And things like that. So I wrote stuff like, I will not look at my phone in between work breaks. Because I have noticed that I do tend to check messages and comments and stuff in between. It's another source of just free external validation that I need to learn to rely on less. I most certainly still appreciate it, but there's a time and a place. I can't get dependent. So, yeah, that was cool. And then 5, task 5 was really cute, actually. It was celebrating, I think. And then you just had to list a bunch of different small victories you had within like the day, within the week, within, yeah, just different little victories. And that was nice to write. That was sweet. But enough about week 10. That's gone. Week 11 is what's the word? Regaining a sense of abundance. Nope, that was week 6? I don't know. Regaining a sense of agency. That's the word. And this one, I gotta admit, is probably the wackiest one. It's definitely the most out there, I think, I've read so far. There's a lot of tasks that seem a little intense, a little silly, a little hocus-pocusy. But, hey, it's week 11. We're all in. Let's do it. And yeah, the first paragraph was just called affirmations, I think. And it was just a page and a half of saying, like, you're an artist. You think differently than other people. you need different schedules, you thrive in this and that, and like just kind of everything I needed to hear about accepting who I was as a creative person. And it was tough. You know, just not hearing that my whole life. Because I am the only artist in my family by a bit. And I didn't really have any artist friends growing up, so I was kind of the creative outcast, and the way I thought was different than everyone else, and it was like pulling teeth to try and get myself to do things their way. I mean, I fit in well enough, but at the cost of my own mental health. And physical health, actually. So, just hearing that, like, such positive, affirming stuff from a book that has not steered me wrong thus far was really nice. And that somehow made me even more stressed out because I guess it just added more fuel to the fire because I felt like I wasn't treating myself seriously enough, or just other people weren't seeing me as an artist. I don't know. It's a lot to unpack, and we have quite a few days to do it, so we'll take our time on that. The other one, next paragraph, was about success and like how to deal with it. That was nice because I've been dealing with that personally a lot. It's when something does well and then people expect more of that, like it's a product. They expect art to be treated the same way as a new phone is, and you just keep putting out the same exact type of stuff. And that's just not how creatives work. If you do that, which you can force yourself to, I've done it before, you will burn out. You'll lose the spark, and it's just, you know, husks of what your creative output used to be. So that was really nice to hear, that just like, hey, your creative intuition and what you need for yourself will change in ways the masses won't agree with. Sometimes it'll be convenient, but most of the times it's not. And that's just nice. Just more confirmation, more affirmations, I guess, that the way I think, the way as like I live as an artist is valid and not, you know, weird or wishy-washy or whatever, or broken. Like, no, being an artist is one of the coolest things you can be in this world, honestly. And they just don't get as much respect because it doesn't fit really the 9-to-5 structure. All the businessmen and stuff, you know. Same old story. And then, oh yeah, interestingly, the last section was about exercise, which I totally agree with. Kind of just how you have to keep the body moving and you have to pay attention to the body and keep that energy flowing so you can keep the mind and the soul energy flowing. Totally makes sense. I've been doing yoga every morning after my morning pages, which I think has really helped. But it's getting nice outside, and I'm wondering if maybe I should do an exercise outside? But also I have serious allergies right now. I don't know, I think I need more of a time, more of like a serious exercise time to actually completely let go of my thoughts for like 20 minutes. Because during yoga, I do tend to overthink things, and I'm like, okay, now's my meditation time. Let's think about everything all at once. No, I have to think about nothing. Maybe just that realization will help me. I don't know. But I think more cardio is good. Yeah, we'll work on that. And then this week has 10 tasks again. We're back to 10. And they're a little crazy. You have to like record yourself talking and then listen to it later while you're meditating or something, and you have to make like an artist shrine in your room for yourself to like, I don't know, worship the creative spirit. I'm a little hesitant, but I'll give it a shot. 'Cause hey, why not? And again, this book has not steered me wrong before. In fact, it has steered me in uncomfortably correct directions. So, yeah. Oh, I'm talking for a while. Yeah. Well, I have a lot to talk about. So, last bit. I did do some art today. Oh, okay, yes, and it's relevant too. This comic that I was working on with the bowl and the garden and the thing that I started during the week of compassion. I drew it, I started coloring it, and then I stopped halfway through for a few days because then I got so busy with the shows and stuff. And I stopped coloring right in the first half when I was just venting about how much it hurts to realize how poorly I've been treating myself. And that's just all that was colored. The resolution to that was still uncolored. So I think that might have also had a little bit of an effect because the thought was unfinished. So the beginning of it was just looping in my head for like 3 days. And then I colored the rest of it today. And I posted it and it's out. And I think there's a little more of a resolution happening now. It feels concluded. I'm definitely still making a part 2 though, because, it hurts. But, yeah, now it's just about 10 p.m. I'll have another... That's what task 3 was. Okay. I had to make promises to myself. And one of my promises, tonight, I remember, was I was going to go to bed at 10 or 11. Unfortunately, I think I said 10. No, I might have said 11. Hopefully 11, because, I have 10 minutes otherwise. I was going to go to bed super early to write, because I haven't written in a while, and I want to. It's been slipping through my fingers, so I made that promise. I have to look back at those, actually, to make sure I remember the promises, so I can keep them. But yeah, committing that hard, writing out, I promise that I will do this. There's some weight to it. It was all right, we are doing this. So, cool. Hoping for a lot of change happening. This is a lot of dust was kicked up today and yesterday. So, we're moving and grooving, which is good. I feel like I was stagnating for too long. Things were getting a little too chill, a little too boring. So, the tears have come. Now I think this is the last big transformation, I think self-talk, self-compassion is the last big thing I really have to deal with. So that's exciting, but also not gonna jinx it, but this could be it. And I mean, it's also just very appropriate because it's really starting to become spring and it's the end of the semester and it's the end of the weeks. It's it's all coming together and I feel like this is it. I feel like this is the finale. Could just be my writer brain wanting to have a nice, neat conclusion, but what if, right? So I've talked for just about 30 minutes. I believe that is that. And I will see you in log 79. Wow, almost at 80. All right.